Yes, ma'am.
What did the Australian doll ask her partner to do when they were having people over for a grilling party?
Gosh, I just might know.
Ken, you throw it on the Barbie! What kind of accent was that? Hello! Welcome to another episode of Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I'm one of your hosts, Madelyn.
I'm your other host, Emma.
And did you really guess the punchline?
Yeah. So I started saying, I just don't know, man. And then I thought about it for a minute, and then I was like, yeah, I think I get it. I think I figured it out.
Did you even get the Ken part?
I did not get the Ken part, but I got the main part of it.
Yeah. I didn't really do the else. I was laughing too much that it just turned into like this sort of like bizarro nowhere accent.
Throw some shrimp on the Barbie.
Oof.
Is that Australian?
Oof.
All Australian listeners out there, sorry.
So sorry.
But I think it's like I'm thinking like Flight of the Conchords, but they're not even Australian.
They're from New Zealand. That's a big deal. Wow, you just turned all the Flight of the Conchords fans out there against us.
I just said that's what I think of, but I know it's not Australian.
Wow, convicts.
Yeah.
Anyway, now that we've heard my fantastic joke that I've been working on for 2 weeks, this week on Talk This, as usual, we're talking about an old game and a new game and our mashup of the game. I already have ideas for the mashup this week.
Okay.
Which puts us way ahead of the game.
Very excited.
Of our usual end of episode panic. So this week, we're taking a somewhat lighter tone than in some of our previous, most recent episodes.
Yeah.
Or like, honestly, this might be our lightest episode ever.
Well, it lasts like Metroid and Avengers Academy. That's not like dark, you know?
Not dark. Metroid is not a shooter. I don't want to call it a shooter, but it's a shooting game, though.
Yeah, but you know, I'm just saying it's not like we've been like totally down in the depths.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's good. It's getting dark here so early that I don't think we can take that. Like dark games. Yeah. But yeah, this might be our least violent week ever. How about that? Unless there is like a very dark turn to our second game that I am not aware of.
No. Well, there's like a secret ending that might or may not be an ending. But we'll get to that because we're starting with our old game. Anyway,
our games this week are, if we've built up enough suspense, drumroll please, Barbie Team Gymnastics and Dream Daddy.
A dad dating simulator.
I'm sorry.
I think it's really important to put the subtitle in it, just in case anyone's unclear about what the game is about.
Yes. I don't really know why I did a drum roll. We announced this 2 weeks ago. So.
Because we're just so excited about it.
The suspense. It's going to be a great episode. Everyone is telling us it's going to be a great episode, so the pressure's on.
Pressure is on.
So we're going to start out by talking about Barbie Team Gymnastics.
Yeah. I was trying to think this last week of, like, why was I so enamored with, like, Barbie Team Gymnastics as a child? Because it's literally just, like, you press the arrow buttons when it tells you to press them. And that's, like, all of the gameplay.
For those who are not aware, Barbie Team Gymnastics is a computer game that I honestly didn't do any research about Barbie Team Gymnastics because, like, I feel like I'm the expert.
Yeah.
It came out sometime in the 90s.
Yeah.
Or early 2000s, but almost certainly the late 90s, that we had on computer I was almost said on computer as a video game. But what I meant was, it was a video game that we had on our computer as children. Where basically I guess for whatever reason, the Barbies have sort of infiltrated Team USA's gymnastics squad. Well, what happened to the other girls? Isn't Barbie a little tall for this? Just saying.
I hadn't even thought of that. That's true.
Yeah, I hadn't either until I started talking about it, and then I realized, how did these Barbies get on the team? But now the USA Fab Four, or what did they call themselves this last Olympics?
There's 5 of them though. Although there's 4 in team gymnastics, isn't there?
Yeah, I guess that's why I'm getting confused. But they don't.
Final 5 was this because it was
they're so good.
Last.
They don't need a 5th. They're the final 4.
Yeah.
So they are from Pokemon now. And they are training as gymnasts, and they compete as gymnasts in all 4 events.
Yeah. So it's uneven bars, vault, mat, and the other balance beam.
I was waiting for you to not remember it. It's floor. It's not mat, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
They only call it mat for the men, because Matt is a man's name.
But you have, like, I don't remember their names. That's the issue. There's Barbie, Teresa is maybe one of them.
Yeah, Teresa's the brunette.
There's the one African American one. And then there's the other one.
The other one. I'll look it up. Emma, try to explain why this game is so fun.
I could not tell you. I guess it's sort of like why, like, casual mobile games are fun also, because it's just so simple. Because you just, like, I think it's just the arrow keys, and you, like, press them at the right times as the Barbie is doing the trick. And if you get it right, the crowd goes, woo, or whatever. But I think you could, like, change their leotards, too.
Yeah, they had different leotards.
Yeah. I think, like, especially when I was younger, but even now, I just like dressing up my characters, you know? Like, having some sort of, like, dress-up element, which I guess is pretty girly, quote-unquote, of me, but it's fun. So that part was also fun. And it was Barbie, you know? It's, like, the quintessential childhood soul-eating franchise of the world.
So apparently it's actually released in 2001.
Oh, darn.
So my bad, y'all.
You probably got it like the day it came out. I feel like I played it since I was like, 4 or whatever. So.
It's available on Amazon, although it will certainly not run on a modern computer. Yeah. But it is available on Amazon.
Maybe it's on Steam.
That's worth looking into. The 4th girl doesn't even make the cover though, so.
I think there was 4 though.
There are 4.
But she's not important enough.
Wow, she's Asian, so you're a racist for forgetting her.
Oops.
Wow, I'm like looking at these images they have, and it's all coming back.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't explain why it's fun.
Yeah. Like, it's not even like we had a ton of these, like, simple games. Like, the other games we had on the computer that I remember is, like, Age of Mythology and Civilization and stuff in that, and Zoo Tycoon and stuff in that vein.
I think that those come a couple of years later in our childhood, though.
Maybe.
We had, like, more like point and click. Do you remember Putt Putt?
Oh, yeah. We got the Nancy Drews eventually, too.
Nancy Drews are later, too, though. Man, I can't wait. Is Nancy Drew in our old game hack? Because if it's not, that's the one that's going in this week.
I don't think it's in right now, no.
Wow, it's got to.
Well, I have to pick one.
No, you can pick the series.
The
it's
Aztec
fine.
One gave me nightmares.
Okay, so
I was terrified of stairs for a very long time after the Aztec one. Because you fall down the stairs of, like, an Aztec temple. And this is entirely off topic, but thinking about the computer games has brought this back to me.
Wow, I thought there was actually going to be a review here, and there isn't. Here's the review from PC Mag. It's like 2 sentences long. Barbie and her group of multicultural friends learn gymnastic moves and practice routines on the vault, uneven bars, and balance beam. Wasn't there floor? I thought there was floor.
I thought so too.
I didn't know this. Up to 3 players can choreograph routines.
Oh, really?
And with gold, silver, and bronze. So that's right, people. This has the gold standard for our podcast here.
Yeah.
Local co-op. No, this one says everyone is telling me there's only 3, even though I'm seeing images that have 4 girls.
Maybe
this
one
is
of
a
them's
conspiracy.
not playable.
Well, it says Barbie, Christy, and Teresa, along with their coach, Kira.
Oh, then maybe they're
practice
the
their
coach,
routines.
so they don't, you can't play as them.
I don't feel like I agree with that.
Our memory is scattered, apparently.
Yeah. Well, the problem is this game is sort of like before... I feel like this game sort of predates game journalism.
Mm-hmm.
So, and, not surprisingly, except in the Pet Cat household, it's not exactly a classic. So there's not exactly, like, Barbie Team Gymnastics think pieces.
Yeah.
Although, boy, is that a challenge for me to write something for the blog this week. Because, yeah. Yeah, I guess Kira is their coach.
Ah, man.
But I felt like you could play as her.
We clearly thought this game was more involved than it actually was. We thought it had a whole other genre of gymnastics, and we thought it had a whole other playable character. And we were clearly wrong. Our memories have colored this game in rose.
No. It is all 4 gymnastic apparatus, says Neo Seeker.
Oh,
so.
Okay, so we were right about one thing.
I had forgotten also that you choreograph your own routines.
Yeah, like you put moves in, right?
That does now sort of come back because you just put the super difficult moves over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to advance. It's like Glee, right? I don't know why Glee.
It's like
TV
Glee.
show. But there's local, sectional, regional, and national competitions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess you could also say it's like Monster Rancher. But
Yeah.
Wow, I'm sort of excited to dive into this world again. Do you think it has a TV tropes page?
I kind of doubt it.
Okay, well, we're gonna find out. What do you think this game teaches young girls, Emma?
That gymnastics is cool.
Does it give them... Maybe the reason we liked it so much is that we are both, talk this fun fact, really bad at gymnastics.
Yeah.
Wow, it does not have a TV tropes page.
Madelyn can do a forward roll, and I can do a cartwheel.
Oh, I think I can't even do a forward roll anymore.
Well, once upon a time, Madelyn was able to do a forward roll, and once upon a time, I was able to do a cartwheel, and that's about it.
I had a breakdown over it when I had to do a forward roll for combat class.
Uh-huh.
I had to try to practice on my bed. It took me a half hour to do it.
Yeah. I was scared of breaking my neck for no feasible reason.
No, I sort of feel the same way.
It doesn't make sense. It's not a rational fear.
It feels like I'm sort of gonna get stuck.
Yeah. So the only time I've ever done a successful forward roll was when my gym teacher would hold my head while I did it. Because we were required to do it for passing gym class, which is BS to begin with. But she held my head, and then I had to do one by myself without her holding my head, and I just sort of tipped over sideways while doing it. I made it over, but I just fell on my side while doing it. And then I never did it again.
I did just find an actual review of the game.
Wow.
That begins with, "This one is serious stuff."
Wow.
Yeah. I feel like this is a game that could make a comeback on mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Are there Barbie mobile games? I feel like that's
Are there Barbie mobile games?
Okay, I'm sorry. I realized that was a dumb question.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. That was deserved.
The question, are there Barbie blank? The answer is yes. Yes, there are Barbie blanks.
Where do you think... Okay, so getting back to actual interesting talk this discussion as opposed to just me meandering the internet. Where do you think... okay, so Barbie takes a lot of heat for being a bad role model, and they've done a lot of things to sort of scientist Barbie and engineer Barbie and that sort of things.
I mean, in terms of body image, yes, I see the issue. But, like, Barbie's had, like, 600 careers. Like, you can't say that in that way. She's not sort of a positive role model.
Well, maybe then Barbie, though, is emblematic of the gig economy. A millennial can't hold down a single job.
Okay, sure, whatever.
I mean, come on. Every day it seems like she's got a new career. She can't decide what she wants to do with her life.
Okay.
Just saying. I mean, I wouldn't be able to either if my feet were disfigured.
Yeah. But I feel like you compare Barbie to, like, Bratz dolls. It's like, I don't know. I would rather have someone playing with a Barbie than playing with, a Bratz doll.
Are you slut-shaming the Bratz?
No, it's because I'm brat-shaming the Bratz. Barbie is, like, a relatively nice person who, like, works hard. You know? Like, in her,
so you
like,
wouldn't play
modeling and, like, you know, storying from the people who work at Mattel.
So you wouldn't play Bratz Team Gymnastics?
No, I wouldn't.
Why not?
I don't know. I just picked Bratz because I remember really not liking them even as a kid. Like, for no rational reason, even. I just, like, didn't like the way they looked. I don't know.
Would you play Polly Pocket Team Gymnastics?
Probably. I did like Polly Pocket.
Cool. We'll get Polly on the team. We need 2 more people. I really thought there were 4 characters. But I guess that doesn't make sense, because then one of them wouldn't be able to get a medal.
Oh, yeah.
That's no good.
That's no good.
But it's unclear to me. It wasn't Teresa. No, it was Teresa. I can't remember if Christy or Teresa was the African-American one. But the other one is sort of like ethnic ambiguity. So that's cool of Barbie Team Gymnastics for sort of like... So I feel like that was even before the real U.S. team was like that culturally diverse. So, like, you go Barbie, pioneering, like, women of all colors can be gymnasts and be awesome gymnasts who do awesome dismounts and stuff.
By pressing buttons on the keyboard.
There were no injuries in Barbie Team Gymnastics.
Thank goodness.
That's a
strike against lifted its rating a little bit.
I still don't think it's not like rated early childhood. I don't think the mythical early childhood rating.
Yeah. Well, you know, they're not like they're wearing leotards. I guess. I don't know. Would that bring the rating up? I'm being serious.
I mean, maybe. This is something that I'm
like not like it's not like rated T, but maybe that's enough to get it out of early childhood. I don't know.
I always find these rating systems interesting, and I never take the time to actually look into it. So maybe before next time, I'll actually read up on early childhood and see if there are literally any games. Do we think that Barbie is promoting unhealthy body image in this game?
In this game? I don't know. I mean, like, you know, they're gymnasts. So even if they're slightly tall, it just sort of makes sense that they're, like, you know, not large. If you know what I mean.
No, I get that. The animation, when you look at it, they look like so, like, it looks so old. That's all. This game, like, it looks so old.
Yeah. I mean, Barbie as a whole, does it promote unhealthy body image? Maybe.
There's a fat Barbie now, though.
But I don't know. Like, I don't know that, like, giving... Well, like, for me, I guess, like, playing with toys or, like, reading media I like or watching TV shows, you know, like, you admire characters and you want to be like them. Whether or not that has to do with the body image or the way you dress or the way you act. You know, like, I think that everything can have, like, short-term effects on the way that you perceive yourself and the way that you show yourself to the world. And I don't think I know enough about our body image class in my youth and communication technology has not happened yet.
So finally, I guess, before we transition away from this game, what do you think this game taught you as a child? How do you think this game shaped you?
Reflexes.
Good.
Hand-eye coordination.
That's what everyone says about video games, sure.
Yeah. But it's like, you press the buttons as you see them to remember which button it is.
No, I know what hand-eye coordination is.
I was just explaining. But no, I think I have better hand-eye coordination than a lot of people. So I was a goalie. Maybe this helped me be a better goalie.
Maybe.
Also, gymnastics is cool.
Anything more psychologically forming?
Gymnastics is neat. People who do it are impressive. I actually really like rhythmic gymnastics too. Mm-hmm. Which has nothing to do with this game. But I feel like rhythmic gymnastics is a very underappreciated sport. And more people should watch it because they're fun.
Probably one of the dads in Dream Daddy watches rhythmic gymnastics.
I don't think so. Should we transition?
I guess that we should talk about Dream Daddy. Now, I feel, having actually done the research on this game and not just, having heard about it and thought it was weird, I feel a little bit bad for how much we laughed about it last episode.
It's funny. It is funny.
I know it is a funny game, too.
It's supposed to be sort of funny, It's just, a happy game. It's a game that's supposed to make you happy.
No, not necessarily. Some of them have, very melancholy endings.
Well, I guess so. But still.
Anyway,
as a whole, it's a happy game.
For those who somehow missed the cultural phenomenon, it was this past summer, right?
I think so, yeah.
That was Dream Daddy, a daddy dating simulator?
A dad dating simulator.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, my bad.
Should feel sorry.
Yeah, I do. For those who missed the cultural phenomenon, so in the wake of sort of the dad bod and all sorts of other internet memes that I don't really want to wade into that world. I just don't. We saw the creation of this I almost said daddy dating simulator, and again, that's not the subtitle. I'm just saying it. The creation of that this past summer, which capitalized on all these memes to create what turned into a mega, mega, mega popular game. It became the most talked about game on Tumblr. It was top of the Steam charts. It was huge.
Well, it was made by these YouTubers called the Game Grumps, which probably, contributed to its success a little bit. But I think it's interesting, it's a game made from a gaming YouTube channel,
Maybe we'll make a game. We make games every week.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
The games that we invent at the end of our episodes.
Yeah.
One of them is only 19, which is not cool.
There's people like that in every industry, though,
I know that, but I still hate when I read about them.
Like the Aragon books.
Oh, right, he was a baby when he wrote them, too.
Yep.
That probably explains a lot about the later books. Anyway, in Dream Daddy, and I did not realize this, there's all sorts of stuff about this game that if you think you know Dream Daddy, and you're only basing it on the fact that you've heard the title, Dream Daddy, boy, are you wrong. So in this game, I didn't realize not only are you romancing dads, but you are a dad.
Yes.
Well, I didn't realize that. How would I have known that?
Design that dad. Name that dad.
Anyway.
If you go through the character creator screen, there's this great narrator that just says all the things that you're doing very enthusiastically.
Anyway, you play as this dad.
Mm-hmm.
He has a name. I don't...
Does he have an official name? You name him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just reading reviews, and it seemed like he always had the same name in the pictures from the reviews, but I guess that makes sense.
He might have a canon name, but...
Fair enough. Emma did air quotes around canon, in case anyone missed that from just her tone of voice. So you're a dad, you're new in town. It's like Maple Bay or something. Flowery like that. And you and your daughter have just moved to this town, and your wife or husband, your choice, has just recently passed away. And you and your daughter, who's a senior in high school, are coping with that while also trying to find love on Dad Book.
Yeah.
With the 7 neighborhood dads who you can romance.
Uh-huh. Also, I think Dad Book is hilarious. It's just like a hilarious name. But most of it's visual novel. The visual novel is really making a comeback in a big way recently.
Yeah, seriously.
But there's also, like, little mini games that are, like...
Did you see the Pokemon one?
Yeah. So there's, like, a Pokemon one where you're, like, bragging with another dad about your respective daughters. And you have to try to, like, brag the most successfully about your daughter, Amanda.
Pretty great.
Yeah. And there's other ones, too. And not all of them are great, like, mechanically, but they're all, like, weird and funny.
Well, anything but a QuickTime event. That's, you know, anything but that.
Yeah. But you have your choice of different dads. Goth dad, teacher dad, hipster dad, jock dad. I don't remember the rest of them.
You named all the ones that I remembered, so. Oh, married dad.
Married dad. That one's pretty scandalous. That's the one where there's apparently a secret ending. It's like...
Oh.
Kind of dark.
Yikes.
But I think it's just like an urban legend. I don't think it really exists.
I'll have to look into that after the show.
There's like 7, right?
Yeah.
Oh. There's like, I don't know.
I have it pulled up. I'll look at it. Hang on.
There's like the orange-haired dad.
Yeah, orange or ginger dad.
Yeah. But yeah, sort of, in addition to that, like Madelyn said, you're also a dad, and that means that you have to interact with your daughter, which I think for a lot of people is actually like their favorite part of the game. And from what, like, I haven't bought it or played it, but I've watched some people do it, and like from what I've watched, like it's just like, you know, Amanda is just like a very well written character for being a senior in high school. And like, it's hard. Video games have always struggled with like doing children effectively. So it's always fun to see one that seems to write a child and make you actually care about them and not be like annoyed, like, oh god, why is this child following me, you know?
I think the 2 that you missed, by the way, are Outdoorsy Dad.
Oh, Outdoorsy Dad.
Who has a corgi, so that puts him straight to the top of my hypothetical gaming list. I think there's like an academic dad, too.
Isn't that teacher dad?
Oh, shoot, you're right, you said teacher dad. Okay, still looking.
It's very important.
Yeah. Bad dad?
Oh. Bad dad.
Well, yeah, and I feel like not just you have children who or a child who you have interesting interaction and well-written interaction with, but the other dads also have, like, family dynamics, and children to deal with and talk about.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was reading a piece on it that says, like, okay, so, like, in most dating simulators, and, like, I've done this in things that are, like, not full-on dating simulators, right? But I play Stardew Valley and that sort of thing. Not anymore. My obsession with it is over. I've left it alone for too long. But, like, in those games, it's like, okay, it's like you figure out what kind of character you're talking to, and you tell them the things they want to hear, right? And you, like, get hearts, and you give them gifts, and you get hearts. It's this, like, transactional thing.
Yeah.
Where eventually it's like you get something out of it. Great. But this game, it's like not as simple as that. That sometimes things that seem like the right thing to do are going to backfire on you, and it's not just like, now you're at 4 hearts, now you're at 5, that sort of thing. It's a more nuanced dating simulator.
Yeah. No, like, as goofy as it is, and it's like intentionally goofy, you know, it's like,
you can't have a
also,
dad
like,
dating
just, like,
simulator without dad jokes.
Yeah, there's tons of dad jokes, and all the loading screens also have like dad tip on them, just like general advice for living. It's like, stay hydrated or something like that, you know? But it's just like, it's well written, you know?
I'm sorry, I just, like, that just processed. That's so funny.
Hydrate
I'm
or
gonna
die,
stay
people.
hydrated right now, listeners.
Hydrate or die. I think the visual novel is like an interesting genre. I don't even know, like, if you can call them games necessarily.
That's controversial.
I know. Like, I think that, like, excluding things from, like, the label of video game is, like, stupid. Like, being like, oh, if you're using it in a way that's like, well, because this isn't a video game, it's somehow lesser. You know? Like, that's what, like, a walking simulator, for instance, is just, like, a term that's used to, like, take those pieces of media and, like, make them lesser than a game. But I think it's, like, if you're speaking theoretically about, like, what is a game, you know, I don't know if some things fit into necessarily, like, the term as it works, which doesn't make them lesser. It just, like, makes them different pieces of media.
Well, how would you define a video game? Just out of curiosity.
A video game or a game? I mean, the major difference is that there has to be, like, a video element to the game in a video game. I mean, it's sort of, it's hard to define, right? Because, like, there have to be rules of some sort that are established and agreed upon. There sort of has to be some barriers and or conflict, right? And there has to be an objective. But I also feel like it, like, you know, like, picking responses to a question doesn't necessarily make something a game.
Well, how is it different than, you know, okay, so I'm going to press X button to tell outdoor dad that I like his dog. How's that different than me pressing the X button to, you know, hit I forgot I was literally thinking of something specific in a specific game and I forgot the name. The guys that live in the sewers in the X-Men games.
Morlock.
I couldn't get, like, Mogart. It is Morlock. Yeah. How is that different than me pressing the X button and have Wolverine, like, shred one of them?
Maybe because it's, like, less, alive. Like, a video game in itself, like, it can't be as, like, it doesn't have as much variation as a game you would play physically, right? In terms of, like, as you play it again and again. Most video games. And a visual novel has even less of that, you know? Like, you have a right and a wrong answer a lot of the time. And whereas in a game, you have, like, a right answer, an okay answer, a bad answer to, like, a combat situation.
Now, I see what you're saying there. I just think that's a tricky line to draw.
Well, yeah, of course.
As it is with trying to define any, you know, genre or form of medium, I don't know that I would agree. I feel like, so it's like, we're playing a lot of various Kingdom Hearts games here at Talk This NYC right now. And something I didn't realize until recently is, like, I thought that you know, they have, like, these, like, remastered just, like, cutscenes from some of the games.
Mm-hmm.
That I thought were the actual games, but now I've learned are just the cutscenes. And, like, that's obviously some kind of visual novel,
mm-hmm.
right? Because there's not any playing, really,
mm-hmm.
associated with it. But then is it a movie? I don't know. Is it a short film?
Yeah.
It's tough. We could probably talk about this for hours and not really come to a conclusion. I'll ask resident Talk This philosopher and clickbait boyfriend what he thinks.
Yeah.
And report back.
But that's, like, you can do a lot of interesting things with visual novels. I clearly really liked Danganronpa V3, which is partially a visual novel. Then Doki Doki Literature Club, which is a free game on Steam, did some very interesting things with the visual novel format. Phoenix Wright, like there's a lot of like visual novel / adventure game fusions out there. And so you can like do a lot of very interesting things with it. It's just like interesting to think about.
A lot of the time I would prefer that these fusions just like have more heavily into just the visual novel side of it. Like, as I said, QuickTime events are like the worst.
They're not QuickTime events.
Not
you mean like Telltale?
I'm talking about Telltale.
Okay.
Here it is for folks who are counting my Telltale references.
That's true. Telltale is a little bit like, yeah. You're right. It is a little bit visual novel-y, if you think about it.
Right? I mean, I feel like it's the same idea. It's like you're picking a lot of dialogue choices. That's at least 75% of what the game is.
Yeah.
And the rest of it is like, this blows.
Yeah.
No, that's a lie. It's 66% of the game. 25% is this blows, and the rest of it is this really blows, this like freaking loading lag.
We'll leave Telltale off the table, but the difference, I think why people don't think Telltale is more adventure versus visual novels, because the characters move. That's like the one distinguishing thing. And that's just like a stylistic thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like things that are more visual novel versus like adventure game are stuff where they have static sprites, whereas in stuff like Telltale, which is I guess more adventure game than visual novel, they have moving 3D models of the characters.
That seems like a dumb way to distinguish it, though. I don't know. To me, it just seems arbitrary. It's an art style.
I guess so. But, you know, I think that art style can have to do with, or like, you know, like certain films are shot in a certain way that make them a different story than like if they had been shot in another way, even if you kept mostly the same script.
No, I understand that, but the problem for me is like there are adventure games that have 2D sprites. So the fact that they're 3D doesn't feel to me like a compelling reason to say this is a fully different genre.
Well, I didn't say that. I said, like, why people don't think of them as visual novels.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I also wanted to talk, because we have it, and I feel like it's, like, sort of the most significant part of Dream Daddy, is that, like, its treatment of its, like, queer characters, which is something that the video game world almost universally handles very poorly.
Yeah. Well, it handles poorly in just, like, I would say even mostly just, like, doesn't handle it all.
Well, that's fair. But then, like, when it does show up, it's, like it's a character that's, like, I feel like we had talked about a game a while ago where the character is just, like, by the way, they're gay. Like...
Oh, Mass Effect Andromeda.
That's what it was.
It was a trans character, actually.
Yeah. Well, you could make your Dream Daddy trans, too, if you want to.
Although it doesn't factor into the storyline at all.
Right, but, like, that's what I was gonna talk about. Like, that seems to me, for where video games are at right now, that seems like the best we can expect. Like, no, but I'm serious. Like, getting, like, gay characters who are just, like, they're gay, but we're not, like, that's not really... Like, the creators of Dream Daddy talked about how, like, yeah, all these dads have, like, stuff going on in their personal lives and, like, personal hurts and whatever. But they specifically made it so that none of those storylines, like, had to do with the fact that they were gay or bi or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because they sort of wanted to make it more normalized, and so much of the narrative we see around this kind of thing is just, like, shame and persecution, and that's not the game they wanted to make.
Yeah.
So I think the video game world should be really shooting for more of that right now. Like, I don't really think we're at the point where I can ask video games to give a nuanced portrayal of, like, bullying of gay children or anything, but, like...
No, I mean, the closest any video game has come to actually sort of dealing with sexuality and gender issues is Persona 4, and that has its own share of issues. But like, I think definitely, like, it's first a step to be like, hey, these people can be like this, and, you know, they're still characters, before trying to actually, like, go into, like, what it actually means, or, like, the problems that come towards people who are that way.
And I talk a little bit, not about this, but about something that now feels related on and it's sort of not thematically, but title related. Finally, the last Dad of Light blog is going to be finished, or is finished probably when this is posted, because I'm going to do it this afternoon. So, like, it's very exciting for me in that, and I'll spoil the blog post just a little, to see, like, the online gaming thing, like, portrayed it all, right? Mm-hmm. I dig it. It's kind of cool the way they do it. He's got this online gaming family. It's, like, virtual Dungeons & Dragons. I love when games do Dungeons & Dragons episodes. Mm-hmm. You know? But I realized that, like, the friendly, lovely online gaming world that we see in that show is not real. I mean, maybe it's real in Japan. I can't speak to that. But, like, it's not real. But I don't think that all games or all shows should have to deal with, like, the social realities of stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have no problem with Dream Daddy, is what I'm saying. Even though the fact that there are just all these, like, gay dads who are just, like, cool about it all over this one little town is probably not realistic at this point in our society. But...
or just, like, in general. Like, they just, like, all live on the same cul-de-sac. It's like, this seems statistically unlikely, but whatever. It's a dating sim. Whatever.
The fact that they're all, like, attractive and similar age. It's
like,
one of them's goth.
Yeah, just in terms of the numbers of the world. But whatever.
So, should we try to come up with a mashup?
Let's do it. This won't mean anything to you, but when I mentioned it to some people this week, someone said it's basically gonna make Yuri on Ice with gymnastics and children. And I was like, yeah, basically.
I have no idea what that means.
Somebody out there will understand what that means, but it means nothing to Madeline.
Literally zero. I understand the words gymnastics and children. So, not zero. It means 1.5.
Yuri on Ice is a gay ice skating show.
Oh, Yuri on Ice.
Yuri on Ice.
I thought you said Yuri on Ice.
No.
That's like, is that a Japanese game? Like,
it's an anime.
Okay, so close enough.
There you go.
Yuri on Ice does sort of ring a vague bell. So
it was a big deal.
You did not give me enough credit.
I thought maybe you might have been like, that sounds familiar, because it was a big deal for a while, but I didn't think it would mean anything to you.
So I have a couple of ideas. So one, you could just make a gay men's gymnastics dating sim where it's Ken Team Gymnastics.
Interesting idea. What's the next one?
No more thoughts on that. Okay, so the next one is, okay, so we've got your dream daddy, right? You're the dream daddy, but your daughter is a gymnast. And so you're romancing the other, like, stage parents. But you also are kind of, like, sometimes you're trying to stab them in the back, right? Like, you want your daughter to succeed. So you have to decide who to romance to help her succeed and who to, like, crush so that he'll cry instead of bringing his daughter to, you know.
That sounds interesting. But also kind of skeptical.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably going to end up reinforcing some unfortunate stereotypes. So, not going to go with that. Ultimately,
yeah, we don't want to make toddlers and tiaras the gay dating simulator.
That's basically what it was. I mean, you could make it, I need something like analogous with D that starts with an M, with dream that starts with an M. Like magical mommy. And just do like a lesbian one where you all met at a gym.
You all met at a gym. All of you.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Why are you at a gym? Oh,
you're taking an intro gymnastics class.
Sure. Magical. That you have moms and you do gymnastics. Your moms?
Yeah, it's lesbian instead of gay.
But you do gymnastics? Well, I guess not like serious gymnastics.
Is there a problem with lesbians doing gymnastics?
With moms. People who have children.
No, it's like...
Most serious gymnasts are like
mommy
17.
Mommy and me gymnastics.
What?
Mommy and me gymnastics.
Mommy and me gymnastics. Okay. Okay. I was picturing like full on like 17-year-old moms doing gymnastics.
Teen mommy and me.
But I get it. I was like, that's a whole other issue. It's like teen mom magical gymnastics.
Oof.
But you need a better thing than magical.
I know I do. This is the same thing. Has anyone out there played that game? I mean, you have. Like, I don't know why I'm asking. You've played it at every orientation you've ever been to, where you've had to come up with an adjective that starts with the same letter as your first name and a action. Have you played this game, Emma?
An action?
But, like, you do, like a little dance move with it.
Oh. Does it have to start with an E, too?
No, the dance move... No. No.
It's a valid question.
It's just to sort of go with what you're doing to make it more memorable.
I don't think I've ever had to play that game, but I could.
I have had to play it, like, a dozen times.
Emma.
Oh, my God. I wish you could have seen her hand gestures, everybody.
I'm a great dancer.
I always do Monstrous Madelyn with the thriller hands.
Oh, that's nice.
But now I'm thinking Memorable Madelyn might be a good one, because everyone will remember it.
Wow.
But
so
the
you'll do
problem,
like a little, like a...
It's meta.
Put your fingers to your head and like boogie.
Okay, so the point I'm trying to get to with this is that I always have trouble coming up with good M ones. That's why I held on to Monstrous and the thriller hands, because it's like kind of funny without being too out there, and it's memorable without being like, wow, that person just mimed a fart or something to that effect.
How about my mommy match?
I like it.
My mommy match, a mom dating simulator.
I hope people understand why I brought up the adjective thing. It's hard to come up with good M ones. But my mommy match is good. What mystic moms?
Mystic moms sounds like they're like a coven of witches.
That could be fun.
Sure. And they have children. But some of them are like changeling children. And they do gymnastics.
Monkey Mamas. It's a gorilla lady dating simulator.
All we're taking from Barbie here is the gender.
They were gymnasts for a while, but then you were like, moms can't
They were
do
gorilla
gymnastics.
gymnasts?
They were. They're mommy and me.
Are gorillas even monkeys?
What?
Aren't there like some like orangutans aren't monkeys, right?
I'm sorry. I heard the question that I heard you ask was, are girls even monkeys?
No.
And I was like, I don't understand.
Are gorillas even monkeys?
I don't know. They're not. They're primates.
There you go.
Oh boy. I'm losing it.
Mommy team matchmaker.
Oh, you have to come up with like matchmaking routines.
Yeah.
And hit the space bar.
Yeah. Like you like come up with like strategies to like make people date each other, and then you have to hit the button prompts at the right time for it to be successful.
It just sounds like Emma the video game adaptation.
What?
Not you, the book by Jane Austen.
I was like...
Yeah, idiot.
When have I ever done that, ever? I hate love.
Emma gives Dream Daddy a thumbs down for love.
Love sucks. I don't want love in my video games.
Oh boy. On that uplifting note, this has been another episode of Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I'm your love-loving host, Madelyn.
And I am Emma, the hater extraordinaire.
Oh, hater extraordinaire. She's doing the hand gestures again. This episode is going off the rails.
Jazz hands, one by your head, one by your hip. Like facing your body.
Send in your videos of you doing the extraordinary Emma dance. We'll feature you. So we have social media that we'll feature you on if you send in that dance.
Yeah. And that's an incentive to do it.
Yeah.
Embarrass yourself in front of all of our followers.
It's at Talk This Podcast. It's on Facebook. It's on Twitter. It's on Instagram. We're on YouTube, although there will probably never be content there.
I will get to it. Quit harassing me.
Sorry.
Our website is talkthispodcast.com. You can email us at talktous@talkthispodcast.com.
There's going to be some great new blogs coming up. I'm going to finish the Doubt of Light blog. That one's probably already up. I'm mostly done with that. There'll probably be another episode of Clickbait Kingdom Hearts. Because I have a lot of quotes. We are very behind our actual game progress on the blog right now. And there is some doozies coming up. And there are some that I've omitted because I want Josh to be able to get a job someday. And I don't want those out on the internet.
Oh my god.
The most recent ones. There's one from Traverse Town that's up on the blog now, and he would not post. He was like, I was gonna post it on Facebook, but I wasn't sure I wanted people to see me like slut shaming Yuffie. So for excellent content like that, check out the blog. I'm trying to
think of my own blog series. I have to just keep brainstorming.
I'm also going to pick up the long dormant Buzz This series so I can do the Which Dream Daddy Are You quiz that I found on BuzzFeed. So you should take that too and let me know your results. Yeah, lots of vlogs coming up. Lots of good content just all over the place.
So tell all your friends, subscribe to us. We're on iTunes and Google Play and a couple of other places. Yeah. And now we gotta pick our games for next
I was all ready to sign off already.
You always do that because you're stupid. Okay, this is old games. Tell me when.
Pick.
You got it when I had like 7 things stuck in my fingers.
Stupid.
Psychonauts.
Oh, nice.
You can play that if you want. It's on the PS3.
Nice.
Just get all prepped up.
Oh, I thought that was Scribblenauts.
No, it's Psychonauts.
It's a different game. Anyway.
It's a different game.
Less nice.
Psychonauts 2 coming out 2018. Super frickin' pumped.
Pick the new
one.
one.
The new game. Which is not Psychonauts 2 because it's not out yet.
Oh, it's the Luigi hat.
Luigi hat.
Okie dokie.
Tell me when.
When?
Okie dokie. Wolfenstein 2.
Why are you laughing?
It's just very violent.
Great. What a transition. I'm glad we didn't get Barbie Team Gymnastics in Wolfenstein 2.
It's like an alternate World War II. Crazy.
Oh, this is the one that got a lot of bad press for being anti-Nazi, right?
Yeah. Isn't that freaking ridiculous?
We'll talk about that next week. Or in 2 weeks. Talk This gets political. Spoiler alert. We're anti-Nazi.
There's actually, like, it will get political because Wolfenstein is, like, the center of a lot of, like, like should politics be in games discussion, which is like just insane.
We'll talk about it in 2 weeks.
Yep.
For now, in this happy, shiny, bright episode of love and
dads.
Perfect dismounts, I guess. Should I do the sign off this week?
Sure.
Have an extraordinary